Good evening, and welcome to another apocryphal version of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your agnostic and aggravated host, Voice of Doom. Hello. My last diatribe is still loading onto YouTube, but I'm going to do another one because there's been some breaking news and now I can't go on with my soliloquy about doomology because, well, it all ties together, but I had it more planned out, but now I have to comment on the latest happenings. So, the night was not good. It's been very slow at the restaurant I work at, and I've either gone home early or just puttered and pewtered around and played piano and tried to make a buck here and there, but basically not making the kind of money that would actually allow someone to live a regular life. And as is my wont, when I have a few days where I'm not making any money, I decide I'm going to try to make more. So I go even more into the hole, because I'm on a losing streak right now. So I was not happy as I dumped cash into a machine and didn't get much back, and had to listen to obnoxious people being very loud. And I don't want to say anything about my particular attitude toward people that just screech and have to bring attention to themselves by yelling and screaming and acting like they're very witty at a bar in a casino. Everyone's seen them. They're annoying. They're always loud. They always think they're clever. And the days are coming soon where people like that will be dispatched. I'm not going to say anything, but that's why I have no dog in the gun control fight, the gun control argument, because I don't have any guns, because I know myself. And never mind. Little things will bother me, and I'll just say that's it. Okay, let's dispense with that subject. It was a bad day, it was a bad week. I don't think things are going to get much better at the present time, but I always seem to bounce back, so we'll see what happens. But in my last diatribe, I was adding a few ideas about the shooting, and one thing that bugs me is when I say there's two reasons for such and such, and then I give one reason and then go off on a tangent and forget the other. But I was saying that I was talking about shooting, and I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. I didn't even listen to my diatribe. I just posted it because I figured it was a good one. But speaking of mass shootings, another reason that things will never get better is that people don't want to study why people do what they do. They're not interested. Do you ever notice that? Whether the shooter is killed or whether the shooter is captured, yeah, they might go to trial and be put away, but no one ever tries to get to the bottom of why people go on a rampage and shoot. You know why they don't want to know why? Because then they have to study the human mind, and people are not good at the mind. Try as we might, We've done a lot of things. Made these phones that have the whole universe in your hand. Made the internet, which can just transmit information at the blink of an eye through wires and through wireless and through the air. I don't know how they do it. Had nothing to do with human ingenuity. There's no way. It's all alien technology. It's got to be, because I don't see humans that have the brain capacity to make what we are using today. So the whole thing is just a distraction. Use the alien technology, build the stuff, so that people will be distracted, and they are distracted from the age of about 1.5 up. So I can see by today's events that it's over. I'm not going to worry about my mortgage anymore. I will pay the bills that will keep the lights on, but other than that, I'm not going to pay any more bills. Because why should I? Why should I try to function in a society that is broken down? It's ridiculous. I've already told you the analogy. If a tornado comes through Mississippi or Tennessee and just levels your house, and it's nothing but a pile of rubble, you do not go. You might try to salvage some of your belongings, some of your keepsakes that might have survived, but you do not start grabbing pieces of wood and concrete that have been broken up and start trying to rebuild the house out of the rubble. What you do is you take a bulldozer, or get the state to use a bulldozer, or whoever's in charge of disasters, and sweep it away and build anew. So that's the analogy I've used since time immemorial about solving problems in this country. We cannot build on the mess and the wreckage that we've created. So it's got to be swept away. And I'm hoping for it, and I'm praying for it. I am praying to the universal forces and whatever powers are out there that everything falls apart in earnest, so people really notice it and they can forget about all their little trivial pursuits. Because it's over. It's officially over. Orangie apparently has been indicted, which will be a heyday for these failing MSM outlets who can't get anyone to watch them unless they talk bad about Orangie, because there's 50% of the country hates Orangie. So they want to see bloodshed. They want to see Orangie indicted, fingerprinted, given a mugshot, and they will chortle and chuckle over that and say, "See, we told you so." Now, what used to be the United States had a justice system at one time. They say no one is above the law when it comes to Orangie. No one is above the law, even an ex-president. No one is above the law. Really? A sentient human being that has eyes, ears, and a brain to process information knows that there are so many people that are above the law that it staggers the imagination. And I'm going to start getting a little bit miffed because it's almost over, so I can just yell my freaking head off. And if I want to make threats, I'll make threats. What difference does it make at this point? People are just thinking this is a joke. Like, life will go on, everything will be fine. Even the QAnons I talk to, "Oh, we'll get through this. As soon as John F. Kennedy Jr. comes back from the dead and takes over the government." All right. They really believe that. I talk to them all the time. Now, the reason they do not want to analyze and figure out why People go off the deep end and take a bunch of armaments and stand on a balcony or shoot out a window or a door and go in and arbitrarily shoot people is because they're under the influence of something, whether it be a chemical, whether it be pharmaceuticals, whether it be under the influence of good and evil that has been through this universe and permeates the universe. So you got to kind of think carefully, but they don't want to say there's a common denominator between all these shooters. They were all taking minoxidil, or they were all taking Praxaloid, or they were all taking Zoloft, or they were all taking, you don't want to get to that point where you can actually get to the bottom of things and find out why people act that way, because it may step on the toes of the pharmaceuticals. Big Pharma, Big Fauci, all those guys that are trying to help so badly and selling pills to everyone in order to cure their maladies, and then they go off and shoot a bunch of people. There's another thing that could be happening, and only the most crazed conspiracy theorists like me will give it any consideration. But there's been experiments in the military and in the CIA and in the deep state, dark government that gets money from whole cloth. They don't go through the regular channels, and it's all through history that it's happened, that they have Manchurian candidates out there. Okay? People have been hypnotized, and they're just waiting for their cue, their word that sets them off and sends them off with a gun to go shoot people. That's another possibility. Saying duality the possible, and I'm going to start getting into the possible. And people better start thinking about that. But Orangie is going to be indicted now. I guess there's 33 charges against him. He's a multi-billionaire. He has hotels and resorts and golf courses all across the globe. And they're going to find discrepancies. They underpaid a janitor. There was some maids working in a hotel and they didn't get a fair wage. He's a cheater. He's a fraud. Now come on. It's all political grandstanding. This prosecutor is just going to do anything he can. He's just hoping that maybe he might get lucky. But he's grasping at straws to try to get Orangie, because if he is the one that makes Orangie not be able to run in 24, which there won't be an election, so forget that, he will be the hero. His political career will be made, because he will be lofted as the greatest hero of all time, because he stopped this fraud in his tracks through whatever means that the so-called Justice Department uses. Now, the Gestapo wishes, they would love to be as efficient in injustice and persecution as the so-called American justice system. The Gestapo, they were pikers, amateurs, compared to what we have in what used to be the United States. And I'll say it right now. And I'm just glad that I'm so poor that they really shouldn't have any interest in trying to get me, because I have nothing. And if they want to put me in prison, then at least I get 3 squares and a cot. So I'm not worried about that either. But you will see they are galvanizing the entire police state in order to quell the protests that are sure to erupt, which they're praying will erupt, so that there can be more arrests and they can make more hay out of the people that decide to go out to the street and protest Orangie's indictment. So the best thing that people can do is just don't do anything. Because I have faith that Orangie will handle it very well without any protests. And if there are protests, be prepared for draconian measures. Be prepared for many people to be swept away and put away without their habeas corpse. And they will be a corpse because that's just the plan. And I'll go on with this. I don't think I'm going to be able to go into my dumology lectures right now because there's too many things happening. And it's almost over. And I tell the QAnons, these rose-colored glasses, Pollyannas, who think everything's going to be fine, forget it. No election, no country, and the earth and the planet will soon be destroyed. So we'll leave it there. I'll leave you to think about that for a while and enjoy whatever is left of what we're doing on this planet. We've blown it. It's over. So goodbye.